for Chris Andersen.
Chris, the Birdman Andersen got one of the loudest ovations at the Nuggets game last night. And if you know his story, that is almost unbelievable. Chris Andersen has been through a lot in his life, foster homes and drug addiction.
And now he's on top of the world here in Denver. He might be the most popular sports figure in the entire city. John Romero, live at Pepsi Center tonight with the story of the Birdman's remarkable turnaround. John?
That's right, Ron. He is indeed a rare bird. Take, for example, he doesn't even start, but he's got the #1 selling T-shirt. Chauncey Billups, a star point guard, his daughter says her favorite player is the Birdman. All this from a guy who did a 2-year suspension for drug violations. He's back now. A lot of cities would banish a guy like this, but here in Denver, these fans of a feather have wrapped their feathery rings around them. You know, I'm going to tell you something right now. Real quick story here, Ron. A lot of times at these live broadcasts we do, fans come up, they want to talk to us. What are you doing a story on? What's this all about? We had a guy come up a few minutes ago and said, oh, who are you talking about? The Birdman. I love the Birdman. Great player. The guy introduced himself. His name was Stan Kroenke. He was just checking out what we were doing here, but he loves the Birdman too. He is a cult hero in Denver.
A standing ovation for Chris Andersen.
The Birdman is soaring again, and Denver is along for the ride.
Every great team needs a cult hero, and the Birdman has filled the bill. Pardon the pun.
Denver Post columnist Mark Kisla can list the reasons: the colorful personality, the awe-inspiring hair, the gravity-defying dunks, and a story that will bring you back to earth.
He's not Birdman, he's every man, and he's the classic American success story.
Chris Andersen grew up in tiny Iola, Texas, so poor he wound up in foster care. Such a bad student, he could only play basketball at Blinn Community College. So naive, he forgot to register for the NBA draft, playing in China and the NBA Developmental League before the Nuggets called him up.
I wouldn't know what demons he's battled, but he certainly put up a very good fight.
Until 2006, when the shot blocker knocked himself out of the game. While playing for New Orleans, he failed a drug test and was banished from the NBA for 2 years. He could have given up.
I know the Birdman, he played here with us.
But instead, he played pickup basketball 6 hours a day at the Greenwood Athletic Club south of Denver.
He's that down-to-earth, nice guy who would probably give a shirt off his back to somebody who needed it.
Phil Hood played with him, or at least tried to.
He'd do a pump fake and drive to the hole and just get way above the rim, and everyone else was looking at his shoes.
Until Denver this year took him back. The rest.
Birdman's our bestseller, believe it or not. I don't know what it is, he's just a phenomenon.
Is Birdman history.
He demonstrates an energy that we can all relate to. He brings the joy to the game that we all enjoy.
Nobody seems to play harder or enjoy the game more.
Birdman is a guy that comes off the bench and immediately says, you know what? Let's go do this thing.
But what if there's something else? Not to wax too poetic here, but what if the Birdman really is that part of us dying to fly, even if life tries to keep us down?
And the guy's had many reasons in his life to fail, but he's proved everybody wrong.
The part of us that still believes that if we play hard enough, we can all be champions.
I know lots of professional athletes. He's probably the nicest one I ever met.
The Birdman is soaring again, and he's lifting the Mile High City on his back. You know, we've had a great time out here at Fox 31 covering the Birdman. He's very involved in the community, and again, you know, his T-shirts are flying off like hotcakes. Stan Kroenke said they're the #1 selling T-shirt at the NBA store in New York City. Gives you a sense of how far the Birdman has flown. Ron?
I'm sure Stan Kroenke hopes the Birdman this summer will give him a hometown discount when it comes to future salary.
You know, he says the Birdman is from here, he loves living here, so let's all hope he stays in the nest, or at least in the Mile High City.
Yeah, it's a great story, and we can all get a little something out of it. John, thanks.